Real quick, before we get into this episode, we got some love to share with y'all. 7 p.m. in Brooklyn was just nominated for a Webby Award for the best sports show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Clap for myself.
Which is crazy. And that's really because of y'all, man. The community, the conversations, everything we're building here together. Now, there's a people's voice side to this too, which means it's a fan voted. So if you rock with what we're doing, we appreciate you taking a second to show that love. Link is in the description. So go vote for 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, and let's bring this one to Red Hook. Peace.
I can remember when he first came in and people saying that, oof, man, that one's not going to last long. And it's a dead guy who doesn't feel pain. How long can that work? The answer is 25 years.
How you make coming out of a coffin look cool, though?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Undertaker made the coffin look cool. Like, ain't nothing cool about a coffin.
Nah, man.
Like he rising up out of like that shit was cool as fuck. Peace. Welcome back to 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. I'm Carmelo Anthony here with my co-host.
You know what it is. My name is Kazim Famiwide. You could call me Kaz. And this is a Wave original presented by Intuit TurboTax. Melo.
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
Talk to me.
I've been waiting a long time to have an episode just like this, bro.
We've been talking about it for a long time.
This is right in my wheelhouse. So please do the honors, brother.
All right. Our guest today is a true showman and set the standard. The entrance, the energy, the charisma. That was one side of it. But once the bell rang, it was precision, discipline, control. 2 careers, 2 versions, one of the most talented performers wrestling has ever seen, lost it all and became something even greater the second time around. From the Heartbreak Kid to becoming one of the most respected minds in wrestling that's helping to guide the next generation. Shawn Michaels, welcome to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's going to go all downhill from here. from the introduction, I'm always worried about trying to follow that.
It's all love, all love.
Good.
Welcome.
Welcome, bro. Now, usually we start the show with a section called The Connect, right? But I'm just going to assume you guys have never kicked it before, never hung out.
No. I've watched him, but I've never, I didn't, it's, I don't know, it's one of those things, I don't know, I didn't know you were as tall as you were. And again, I get it, but I mean, well, if it's in
TV, you know what I mean? You look taller too on TV.
Well, it's just,
camera
I'm always amazed by the movement of, guys your size. And those are the things we look at when we're recruiting.
So you're saying you looking at 6'8" over here?
There you go.
Well, I mean, look, if you're, ever thinking about it, I know where to
find you.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm about to say, he knows a guy who knows a guy.
I know what's going on over here.
But Melo, I think when people see this episode, they see the screenshot and everything, they get like, what the hell? I didn't even know Melo was into pro wrestling. So I gotta, we talk about it all the time, but like, I'd love to know your initial, connect to pro wrestling, specifically to the Heartbreak Kid.
Well, my mom is the biggest wrestling fan. I know all wrestling fans say that shit, but like my mom is a big, big wrestling fan. Mm-hmm. So growing up here in New York, she used to always take me to the Garden to watch the shows and watch the matches. And then I used to go back home and jump off the bunk beds and, do some of the moves. I got in trouble a lot of times. But my point is, my mom introduced me to the sport of wrestling, to the idea of wrestling. So growing up, 80s, I didn't really understand it. I just seen people jumping around. But 90s was when I started to really, really get into it. Mm-hmm. Even though it was chaotic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? 90s was chaotic.
It's probably the most chaotic time.
As a kid, I loved to see the chaos, right? The stories and how you merge in all the worlds and all the storytellings and all the characters. And as you get older, you're like, damn, man, I was there. My mom told me about that. Now I can watch the broadcast now and be like, damn, see that story right there? Mm-hmm. They put that together like this. Yeah. So you start learning the sport as you go. But the 90s to me, wrestling wise was my era. That was the era that I fell in love with. That was the culture. Like to me, that was the cultural era. and of what I miss. You know what I mean?
It's like if you were a teenager around the 90s when D-Generation X, Heartbreak Kid, you know what I'm saying? For all the kids who got detention for telling people to suck it, like all that type of stuff. Like HBK was probably your guy, you know?
Yeah, so by that time, by the time HBK was telling you to do all of that, I was growing up in an environment where we couldn't do that. We couldn't tell you that. So you know what I'm saying? So we fell off of that part of it. But just the cultural relevance and attitude that we took from that, we was like, Shawn Michaels the guy.
One thing about WWE is that we always feel like there's always, at some point in someone's life, they have a sort of a run-in with the WWE and with wrestling, you know, whether you're raised that way or you're in college and you're hanging out with your buddies at the dorm or something like that. And then everybody starts to get together. I mean, once we started going to like Monday night and live on Monday night, it became more of a cultural thing. And again, it's something that people at one point in their life, you know, now all these years removed from it, run into people all the time that, you know, I watched you when. I mean, and there's always a different point, whether if they were raised by it or if they ran into it in college or in an adult life, they watched it when they were small and now they're raising their kids on it. So that's what I guess for us, you know, getting the opportunity to do it in that time and then to run across people now at this age, you know, and everybody has sort of a story and while you're doing it, you forget about, I don't know how long you did it and some of the impact you might have had. And
does it ever shock you how wide of a net it casts? Like you got an NBA Hall of Famer who's like, I was raised watching Shawn Michaels with my mom. You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy. Yeah. It really is. You know, everything is perspective, and that's something I do my best to keep. I mean, we were talking about on the ride down here. You can find yourself, you know, getting upset about some of these small little day-to-day opportunities going on in your job or whatever. But then again, you get to come in here on something like this and hear stories and think about just all of it. I mean, people literally watched me. I was 23 when I got to the WWE and I retired at 44 and they watched me grow up on television and go through a lot of changes in all that time. And to me, it was just my job and my career. And then whether you're, you know, I can be going with my wife or, you know, at one time with our children and stuff like that. And you run across these people and they remember where they were at when you did this. I'm sure you run into it as well. Absolutely. You know, and I don't know, I just never really, when I was a little kid wanting to do it, I never thought about it from that standpoint. Yeah. I just wanted to be a wrestler.
Yeah. I always sort of compare it to like, especially if you're like an elder millennial, like, you know, I'm in your 40s or whatever, like I compare it to like Saturday morning cartoons, like Superstars when you were a kid, you know what I'm saying? You watch on Saturday mornings, like right after like G.I. Joe or whatever. And then like you said, it goes to prime time. A lot of people probably like teenagers around the time and stuff like that. You kind of grew up with it, you know? So now if you're like in your 30s or 40s and you have a greater appreciation for not just the competitors, because it's a little bit more, you know, it was very much a, you know, what's it called, behind the curtain sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? Didn't really know. I think the older we've all gotten and the more like widespread wrestling has gotten, there's much more of an appreciation for the fact that like, oh, this is a show. This is like a scripted show, but it's real danger, real athleticism, real storytelling, like real passion behind it. So like, it's crazy how like, I guess for me specifically, like the appreciation for it changes, but like it grows at the same time. You know what I mean?
Well, you're also talking about, I mean, as a kid, you know, and even now having a little bit of wherewithal of it and looking back is like, the 90s was, I said it was chaotic. It was just whatever the fuck happens out here, we're gonna add it to the script. Like, oh shit, he's doing that, okay, add that to the script. Now it's, to me, it's like just a little bit more orchestrated and then more you focus on the storytelling. But back then they was creating the storytelling.
Yeah, that was the thing. In the 90s, a lot of it was very Wild West.
Yes.
There was not a lot of scripted stuff back then. Certainly, you might have discussed some of the things you might do in your match here and there, but going out there and doing promos, those things were not scripted.
Yeah.
And certainly in the mid to later 90s, we really started to go off it because you felt this cultural shift with, we were again talking about it the other day, and with Geraldo and Sally Jesse Raphael and the Jerry Springer show, all those shows coming about, and then the reality shows were brand new at that time and just coming about, and you could feel this, what we eventually called the Attitude Era, but you could feel this change coming on, and you couple that with the idea that because people were, and we were as a company, being a bit more open about the fact that it's entertainment. We weren't trying to convince everybody that absolutely everything was legitimate and real. We began to be a bit more outgoing on the idea that it is a television show, but was hoping that what you just said was accomplished, in that you began to appreciate everything that these individuals were doing, from the athleticism, to the acting, to the storytelling. All of those different aspects would eventually be appreciated if you stopped trying to convince them that it was something that it wasn't.
Yeah.
And the more we did that, and the more we embraced that, and then continued to push that envelope from an attitude standpoint, things just kind of took off.
Yeah. I think you're the one who kind of like kicked the doors open, because I watched you when you were part of the Rockers, with Marty Jannetty way back when. But like, as far as like you said, being one of those first people to sort of like give you a peek behind the curtain and like break the fourth wall, I guess, as far as like the audience. Like, I remember vividly, you having that promo with Triple H, and you kind of like doing the Bill Clinton thing, and it just like, we can't say the words fuck shit. Fuck shit.
I got in trouble for a lot of that. Absolutely. That was that, as people have heard the story, but that was a legitimate letter from the USA Network. That they were very upset with what we had done the previous weeks. And Hunter and I, like, well, let's just go out and read this. And of course, let us say all the words, and if you can just bleep them out. And we did it. And at that time, Vince was, oh my God. But they ended up loving it. And obviously it did well. And we're certainly the kind of company, and we were definitely those type of guys that you give us an inch, we were going to take a mile. Once they said, boy, that was really funny, we just put the pedal to the metal, and then really went after that. And it was chaos, as you stated earlier.
What would you say is your best era, the 90s or the 2000s?
So I'll lean towards the 2000s simply, and I know there are the 90s from a professional standpoint. I feel like I would arguably say that I felt like I was better than a lot of people in the game then, but me personally was not in a great place.
Gotcha.
But the 2000s, I feel like my work was so much better. As you become a more mature player, you understand, momentum, picking your spots, being smarter with the game, being more mature. The game
slowed down.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. And I was able to do that in the 2000s, and also be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I didn't do early in the 90s, was allow myself to enjoy it, because I felt so much pressure and majority of it I put on myself, and felt like everybody was sort of coming after me, and you're very defensive. The 2000s, I would easily say, I think, was just, certainly for me personally and professionally, a much better time, because I was in a much better place, and and with the family and children and all of that. It's hard to beat that time for me.
And a perspective that you have too.
Word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Word. I feel like a lot of people respect you so much because of that, because you never shy away from, like, the issues that you had before you had to, abruptly retire with the back injury and, everything like that. And when you came back saved, you know what I'm saying? Like, you were, we didn't know if it was going to be just a one-off match sort of thing. Like, so every match felt like special. So like, the more we saw you like get back into the groove of like being the guy that we saw in like 1998, 1999, it was like, oh, it's like we're seeing like a second prime right now, right?
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Well, again, it was I guess, cleansing in a way for me. One, just to have a second chance, to be able to end it in a different way, was something that I knew was a gift. I just didn't know how long it was going to last. Because when I came back for the first one, I hadn't wrestled in so long. I just didn't know how my body would hold up.
Yeah.
And so we did it, and it went really well. And then you try another one, and it goes well, and another one, and it continues to go well. And then you just sort of say like, okay, I guess I'm back.
Yeah.
And obviously having the support, at home and stuff like that. I always tell the story, and, she's here, but I can remember, again, getting a call and, being talked about being in the chamber and all that kind of stuff, and looking at my wife and go like, okay, they're wanting to do this. And it looks like, this is going to be a big thing. And her just saying, oh, I have complete peace with it. And so it all felt right.
Yeah.
And it felt like a real opportunity, to change things and to end it on a different note. And I was very fortunate to get that opportunity, and obviously did everything I could to make the most of it.
You won your last world championship here in New York.
Yes.
In the Elimination Chamber at Madison Square Garden. Tell me about that night, man, because I remember watching that, and that's when I was like, yo, he's really back, son. Like, he's really world champion.
Yeah. Well, so on a professional standpoint, it was wonderful, and it was something that at the time they said, oh, it just feels right, feels like the thing to do, let's do it. And of course you you allow yourself to enjoy every aspect of that. The side story that always kind of sort of takes the spotlight is my gear.
And stuff like that. The brown pants was a wild look.
It was half done and everything else. And again, it's another story that I have to tell, because Hunter didn't say anything, and he's like, looking out of the corner of his eye, like, oh my God, what's he wearing? And he did. All the people in my life that knew me knew not to say anything, because they knew if they were to make fun of me or to say anything, I just wouldn't have gone out there. It would have never happened. And going to my wife, and I was like, just look okay. She's, you look beautiful.
Good wife.
And I was like, all right, cool. And then it went, something to that effect. And and I was like, okay, everything was good. So they knew as long as I go out there with a clear head and not thinking about my gear, everything would have went fantastic. And it did. And so, but it's, I guess that's what's, I think, so amusing about it. So on one hand, there's this very positive, feel-good story. And then on the other hand, there's always a little something in there that's keeping me humble.
Absolutely.
At the same time.
When you had when that back injury happened, did you feel like it was over at that time?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and as you know, the medical field has come so far. But back then, and I don't recall there being any other guys that had, again, the lower back problems that I had at that time. And you just go by what the doctors say. And they just made it sound like, oh, you're not going to come back from that, because what's happening to you and, and the fusion, those are things we do to 70-year-old men. And you're 33. And so there's no way you can go back in there and bounce around and get beat up and stuff like that. I can remember, again, having the injury before I went in and going into WrestleMania 14. And after that show, coming back and seeing the doctor, and he said, I watched the match. And he said, there's no way you should have been able to do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just, what we do.
Right.
But yeah, they made it sound like that was it. And I was, as best I could at the time, mentally prepared to, I guess, be done with it and start trying to figure out what the next part of my life would be.
Did you feel like you had to relearn like who you were outside of the sport?
I did one thing from the time I was 19, and that's wrestle.
Yeah. And
so I don't think I had any idea who I was or who I was supposed to be without being a wrestler. We went to a San Antonio Spurs game, and I met a guy from the local news network there in town, and he gave me his card and said, like, hey, if you'd like to get into, announcing and reporting and stuff like that, we'd love to try you out. And, we talked with him and stuff like that. So I started thinking like, well, I don't know, maybe the second half of my life is being the local sportscaster or something like that.
Absolutely.
But I don't know, at least thinking about it. And then of course my training school, trying to start something, but it was kind of fumbling around in the dark, trying to figure out what it was, you were going to do with the rest of your life.
Yeah. Let's give some people that context too, because you have this back injury, you have WrestleMania, Mike Tyson's the special enforcer. You know what I mean? Stone Cold Steve Austin is like hot as fish grease. He's about to take off. And like, you're looking at your like career mortality already, where you probably didn't feel like you were ready to give it up yet.
Nope.
And like the industry's about to take off. Stone Cold Steve Austin's about to take it on a ride. Mike Tyson's there. It's the biggest.
And you're going to miss it all.
I'm missing out. I could only imagine how, somebody who's literally given their health for this industry and seeing it about to take off, and you're like, your doctor's saying that you're not going to be able to do this anymore. Like, what was your mind state like around that time?
Well, again, not positive. So it's weird so that's the worst thing in your life going on. And of course I'm drowning it with anything I can get my hands on. But then I meet my wife and insert wife, and then the idea of having children. So there's wonderful stuff going on here, but there's really bad stuff going on here. You can't have the bad and the good going on. They don't mix well. So there was positive aspects to it, but I was in such a bad place that I wasn't able to even really do a very good job at embracing the other one and trying to make the most of that, if that makes sense.
Absolutely,
I just, again, it was one of those things. I've just never been able to define it very well. It was just, I was stuck in a life and a lifestyle that it was the only thing that I'd known for the majority of my life. And I didn't have enough forethought to be thinking that much about the future. You're thinking about one day at a time and the next match and stuff like that. And now you're home all the time and, kind of just wandering around in the dark and not making it easy for the people that have now come into your life and trying to make it better. Yeah. So it was a struggle, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, I was glad that we all got out, go through those struggles sometimes in life, and that the second act of our life is always usually.
You can relate, man.
I can relate to it. I same thing. 19 years old, coming into a professional sport, and being handed the keys of an organization, like the pressure of that, but really not understanding it. You just thinking, I got to go hard. I got to go super hard, and I got to continue getting better and better. So your younger years is more like you just fresh, you're raw, you're just like a rocket ship. You just going. You don't really know the game that well, and you don't know the industry that well. And in his case, it wasn't no industry at that point in time. You know what I mean? So he get into the midst of that, and the industry starts to take over.
Well, it definitely wasn't what it was about to be.
It was an industry, but it wasn't what it was about to be.
And I made it difficult for everybody at work too. I was brought up in a time that it was, I don't know, you're taught so many of these selfish aspects about it. And then, I don't know, I was a guy that wasn't supposed to make it in the WWE. And then as I got there, I wanted to hold on to it like grim death. And just didn't do it in a positive way. I wish to God I could tell you why.
No, I mean, a lot of things we do in 19 to 24. We don't know.
I was immature, of course. But I don't know, 30 and 33.
I mean,
you have an excuse, you're 19. So I guess it's about having, whatever. The strength to say that you're a failure as a human being. And,
we all fuck up,
between my wife and children and Jesus, he pulled me out of it.
Tax deadline is approaching. We all know how stressful the old ways of filing taxes can be. Going back and forth over email, wondering if you have all your documents, but this year brings a major upgrade. Intour TurboTax now has in-person locations nationwide. You can walk into a tech-enabled TurboTax location near you and meet face-to-face with a real tax expert. Drop off your documents in the store and see them uploaded to your TurboTax app instantly. Just like that, you're done. Your new TurboTax expert stays back and works tirelessly to get you every dollar you deserve while you get real-time notifications as you go about your day. It's a relief knowing your taxes are in good hands, meeting real people, and getting real results. Head to TurboTax.com to find a store location near you and get matched with a TurboTax expert with real-time updates in the iOS app.
Hey, yo, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn is brought to you by FanDuel. Basketball fans, the NBA season isn't over yet, and FanDuel is giving everyone a chance to hit the court. I mean, this playoff matchup starting to shape up. The Sixers looking a little scary now that they're healthy. Charlotte Hornets, fun as hell to watch them play. But, you know, I mean, my Knicks, I don't know. They gotta figure something out. I didn't like what I saw in Houston. Hopefully they, you know what I mean, avoid one of these really hot teams. On the West Side, you got the San Antonio Spurs turning up. It's crazy right now. But FanDuel is the best place to bet your favorite NBA players, all right? Build a same-game parlay for a chance at a bigger payout or try live betting and join the action right after tip-off. Best of all, with FanDuel, you get paid instantly when you win. Just visit FanDuel.com/7PM to check out the latest offers. Everyone deserves a second shot at greatness with FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. 21 and over in select states for Kansas and the affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 and over in D.C., Kentucky, and Wyoming. Bonus bets are now withdrawable and expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org. Call 800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. Call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. And for Louisiana, call 1-877-770-7867. We got a segment called Run the Ones, yes. All right? And since you're a big San Antonio Spurs fan, you know, we're going to give you some legendary Spurs matchups, and you're just going to, hypothetically, in your opinion,
but
just tell me who would...
I don't know. Yeah, all right.
He's biased.
I was going to say, I'm biased to a generation.
Be biased. We gave us some generational, you know what I mean, leeway for you, so hopefully it'll help out. So, in a one-on-one matchup, who are you taking? Current Spurs point guard De'Aaron Fox or legendary Spurs point guard Tony Parker?
Tony Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's when we were courtside, man.
Yeah.
You know,
early 2000s.
Yeah. Giving the sweet chin
late
music
90s.
to the Bobcats.
The mascot. Yeah, absolutely. For sure. Yeah.
Good
Tony
stuff.
Parker for sure. That's just, to me, they were just such a great team then. Yeah. And I guess more than anything, and they still are. That's what I love about the organization as a whole. Just
they're consistently great.
Yeah. Consistent, but I mean, just positive, you know, respectful. You don't hear anything negative about them in the off season and stuff like that. I mean, I can remember way back when Popovich first kind of took over and he came in, I want to say it was like Greg Hill.
Okay.
I think that he came in for, and he was, you know, general manager, but then he made himself the coach, and he had such heat that he was doing both jobs, and how dare he kick him out. And then, of course, all he did after that was win and turned everything around, but also just made sure that everybody that came in bought into a culture that is San Antonio. And then I just respect the, you know, I don't know, the organization as a whole.
The San Antonio way.
I was about to say, you can see a Spur from a mile away. Just from the way they carry themselves, it's like, yeah, that guy's going to fit right in. Speaking of fitting right in, let's talk about some legendary wings from the Spurs. Are you taking George Gervin or Kawhi Leonard? Ooh, it's a tough one.
That is tough, but I don't know. I have to go because I have to go with George Gervin.
Iceman.
Yeah, because that's what first time my father took me. Again, we went, you know, to a Spurs game, I think in, I don't know, late 70s or early 80s.
Nice.
And I mean, him, James Silas, you know, so yeah, the Iceman was easily the man and the man for a long time in San Antonio until the Admiral came along.
Real question. Did you have the poster, the Iceman poster?
You had to have
on the ice pals to the basketballs?
That's awesome. Yeah.
That might be one of the greatest nicknames in all sports.
Yeah. Caleb Williams, you gotta relax, man. Trying to steal the nickname.
One of my favorite players, man, Iceman.
All right. Okay, this is gonna be the toughest one. Tim Duncan versus Victor Wembanyama. Who are you taking?
But now you can't. Now it's
it's a tumble.
It is tough. And again, but I'm gonna say Tim just because he was again fantastic. I can remember seeing him at Wake Forest, and honestly, it's the first time ever paying attention to the draft and everything else, and knowing that was the guy we needed. Way back. And again, in full disclosure, it's not as if I was the hugest basketball fan. Certainly not a big college basketball, but I just remember seeing him play, and he just thought, like, my goodness, if we had him, and then we got him, and so it was, and just since that time, everything, I feel like him and David Robinson turned everything around for that team. So, and every time we would go, the time we brought my son, he'd always, come over and, when he'd bring in the ball in, he'd go let my son bounce it, and and just a class individual.
Absolutely,
just a great guy.
Tim Duncan's one of those guys.
He's different, man.
I hope he doesn't get lost in time as far as like greatness is concerned. Like we talk about these all-time conversations.
He's stamped into
people. Just like to gloss over Timmy, like he wasn't right there
because he's such he doesn't toot his own horn. He doesn't stand out. He'll retire quiet, like you did. Retire quietly.
He's an Islander, man.
You see, he's got the dreads out now.
He's a true Islander.
He just wants to go back and swim.
Absolutely, he's a true Islander.
And exactly, and so that's the only reason it'll happen is because he's so low key.
Yeah. Kids, don't forget, man. Timmy, the numbers don't tell the full story. You had to go watch him. He was dominant every single year.
Big fundamental.
Carmelo gave him all the business.
The best though, the greatest of the greats.
Oh yeah,
he is one of those.
When you have those power forward conversations,
say the best
he destroyed the best of the best.
With no swag either, just the basic dunks
and
basic fundamental, basic layups. Right. Killed you every time. You have been keeping up with the Spurs. I know you're a very busy man, but Wemby, Spurs, fighting for that top seed in the East. In the West right now. What stands out to you anytime you get a chance to watch the Spurs right now? So
once again, I go back to just the team aspect. That it's still a culture of, it's a little more flash than certainly there was. But again, just the fact that they're just, they're so well coached, they're efficient, share the ball, all that kind of stuff. Everybody's playing their role. And that's what I love about, that team and that organization, that, everybody buys into one approach. And if somebody happens to stand out, it's because, everybody knows they got the hot hand on that night, and just feed them the ball.
Yeah. It's rocking out there.
It really is, man.
We done the game a couple of weeks ago. They do
the Viking chant now at the end of the games with the
Spurs,
drum and all that.
And they're huge. They're all we got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. They're the hottest thing in San Antonio.
The Spurs are rocking. That arena is rocking.
Boy,
playoffs will be rocking in San Antonio.
And they've been giving Oklahoma City the business every time they played each other. So if they make the finals this year,
it'd be awesome, because it's about time for another run.
I'm about to say that.
Oh, you guys are starting.
Suffering Spurs franchise. Right? It's been a long time since they had another championship. Man, so Shawn, usually, we do run the ones with basketball, but now we got to do this for the culture. We got to do the wrestling version called Run the Ring, presented by Intuit TurboTax. So I'm going to give you 2 matchups. You're going to tell me who you are taking in each one of these matchups. All right. Now, they all have very special.
This is going to get me in trouble, bro.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Job well done.
7 p.m. in Brooklyn. Don't worry about it.
So all of these matchups have special connections to you. So we talk about 2 of your greatest rivalries: Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Triple H.
Ooh.
Who are you picking?
Well, look, you have to. It's how do you bet against Stone Cold? That's Hunter's my best friend, but everybody's got to kind of got to bow down to the rattlesnake, I think, when it comes to Stone Cold. So friendship-wise, obviously I'm picking
Triple
Hunter.
Yeah.
But then I'm just going to run there and get stunned like Hunter. So we're both going to get beat up anyway. That's how it always ends.
That's a fact. Thank him for the house. As they
exactly.
All right. So WrestleMania is just around the corner. Two of your greatest WrestleMania opponents of all time. The Undertaker, Kurt Angle.
Ooh.
Who are you taking?
Again, I'm biased, so I'm going. Mine are all personal, I guess. Well, I mean, Hunter wasn't. I went against him. So.
I'll say that's your boy.
Yeah, but he's easy to go against. He goes against me all the time. So that's but I'm taking Undertaker.
Yeah.
Kurt's. But man, easily the best transition from what he did into our stuff. Did it seamlessly. What a stud.
He kind of laid the blueprint for folks that want to go from
he absolutely
amateur wrestling, UFC, whatever, to this.
He is the standard that certainly from an NXT standpoint, from recruiting now, that what we do is using Kurt as the guy that might, again, the best to have done it in just such a seamless, quick manner. He was just a natural at it. Kurt was the real deal.
Yeah.
Was the real deal, and then could come in and do our stuff and wear a little cowboy hat and be funny, and then go out there and stretch somebody like nobody's business.
Yeah, I think that's what separated him from everybody. Like, he was super athletic, but it was the comedy. Like, he had wild comedic timing, and it's just like, bro, you can't teach that.
He did.
Like how you make coming out of a coffin look cool though? Like Undertaker made the coffin look cool. Like ain't nothing cool about a coffin.
Nah, man.
Like he rising up out of like that shit was cool as fuck.
Yeah, he had again. Nobody had a character that lasted as long as he did.
Absolutely.
And had it evolve in such a slow but smart, progressive way, and get mileage out of a character that I can remember when he first came in, and people saying that, oof, that one's not going to last long.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Because, again, it's a dead guy who doesn't feel pain. How long can that work?
Yeah.
And, well, the answer is 25 years.
I guess.
He still don't feel no pain.
Nope. He played that role so well. It still bugs me out watching him like podcasts and be like a regular dude.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm just like, you're the dead man. So
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, he's just and as cool as the day is long.
You do the eye roll, the back end. I can't do it, but I look crazy just now.
Pardon the left.
That is pardon the left.
Yeah,
my fault.
it's crazy.
Yo, so this is like the fantasy matchup for me that I don't think we ever got. The Rock and Shawn Michaels, man.
Yeah.
That is the one match I think, as far as like greatness is concerned, we never got it. Obviously, I'm going to ask who you're taking, but I also want to ask why we never got that match.
Imagine all of your favorite basketball in one place. That's what Xfinity delivers. They put you courtside with the best game day experience there is. You get the biggest games, the highlights that matter, and the alerts that keep you locked in. And when multiple games are on, you don't have to choose. If you don't want to miss a game winner by SGA and OKC or a Luka 40-point triple-double in LA, you don't have to. With Xfinity Multiview, you can watch up to 4 live games at once in enhanced 4K, all in one screen. Xfinity, imagine that. Did you know Fast Growing Trees is America's largest and most trusted online nursery with thousands of trees and plants, over 2 million happy customers? They have all the plants your yard or home needs, including fruit trees, privacy trees, flowering trees, shrubs, and house plants, all grown with care and guaranteed to arrive healthy.
It's like your local nursery, but anywhere you live, with more plants than you'll find anywhere else. Whatever you're looking for, Fast Growing Trees helps you find options that actually work for your climate, space, and lifestyle. Fast Growing Trees makes it easy to get your dream yard. Just click, order, grow, and get healthy, thriving plants delivered to your door.
Their Live and Thrive guarantee promises that your plants arrive happy and healthy. No green thumb required, just quality plants you can count on. Plus, get ongoing support from trained plant experts who can help you plan your landscape, choose the right plants, and learn how to care for them every step of the way. Going to nurseries can be a hassle, and hiring landscapers adds up quickly. Fast Growing Trees made it simple and way more affordable for me, plus everything comes back by a guarantee and expert support, so you feel confident ordering.
Right now, they have great deals on spring plants and essentials, up to half off on select plants. And listeners to our show get 20% off their first purchase while using the code 7PM at checkout.
That's an additional 20% off better plants and better growing at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code 7PM at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code 7PM. Now that's the perfect time to plant. Let's grow together. Use 7PM to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply.
He didn't like me.
Oh, right. Okay, that's a quick answer.
Well, no, I will say this again. I think in years he got there's a big kerfuffle in the wrestling business about me and Hunter doing stuff to him and being mean and stuff like that. All of it way blown out of proportion. None of it even accurate. But things that he was when he was younger was fed a lot.
Right.
But again, later on, and to this day, like we get along and we talk about stuff. That's one I think everybody would have liked to have seen. But by the time I came back, he was well off into his Hollywood career and stuff like that. So look, and I even when it comes to me, I'd pick him because again, what are you going to say? I mean, the guy came in, and I can remember seeing him on Saturday Night Live the first time.
Yeah,
and just thinking to myself, like, holy cow, what he did. I can't remember the bit that it was, but it was when he was with the other little guy that was chewing the apple.
Caveman.
And doing that, and he could laugh at himself and everything else, and you could see right there that, I mean, holy cow, this guy's going to be a huge star. And so, I don't know. It's what he's done has been, pretty damn impressive.
Yeah,
if you
absolutely.
think about it.
Really quick. How did you guys receive The Rock when he first came in, his younger days?
When he first came in, again, he was just Rocky might be his son. And I could, again, when he first went out there, he was getting a lot of the Rocky sucks chants and stuff like that. So there's always ribbing and stuff like that in the locker room. But when he came back, because I can't remember what it was, I want to say he might have had an injury that he took some time off. And that's when he really, my understanding is that he really thought about, again, how his career was going and wanted to change things up. And then he came back just as, The Rock and no longer kind of being the son of Rocky Maivia. And I think that was a lot of what it was at that time, again, because with that attitude change and stuff like that, he was coming back kind of as, at that time, one of the first legacies. And the people just, again, at that time were rebelling against that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then I think he recognized that and felt like you got to come back with something a little bit harder, a little more aggressive. And then he changed that up. And after he did that and they put him with the Nation, he really began to take off from there.
Love it.
Man. Oh yeah. That's a hell of a story, man. Let's rewind it back a little bit, man. The kids say you have what they call aura, all right? Like with the entrance music and
that's a new word these days.
That's a new aura, right? I mean, you were around them kids a lot. They tell you all the time, I'm sure. The early days of HBK when you shifted from the Rockers and went solo, and you're coming out with Sensational Sherry, and you're singing your theme song, and at that time, outside of like probably Macho Man and Randy Savage, all of the big main event guys were like big main event guys, but you brought real showmanship. In those days, the early HBK's days, did you feel like you had to do something different than what everybody else was doing once you went solo, or what was sort of like the beginnings of that Heartbreak Kid character?
It was honestly not really knowing where to go. That's something that, again, from an NXT standpoint, that I try to emphasize the talent. I don't want to stick them in a box. I was given the opportunity. They had a certain idea for me that they wanted to do. I kind of liked the look, pieces of it, but I didn't care for the name. They wanted to call me the Idol, and it was just didn't feel natural. And I just asked if I could kind of try to find out who I was and what I was going to be as a character. Then they gave me Sherry and the music, and we had the mirror, and you sort of just start working with that.
Right.
And it just kind of evolved organically. And then having a different person do my gear. Because I was a kid from Texas, I always liked the aspect of cowboys and their chaps. So I wanted to have chaps done, but I knew I couldn't be a cowboy. Vince at that time hated cowboys and stuff like that.
Okay.
So what could I do? And I kind of was inspired. I was an Elvis fan and also, a fan of Freddie Mercury.
Okay.
I thought he was just one hell of a showman.
I can see that.
Yeah. And so, anyway, so it was kind of just a blend of all those things. Then Kurt Hennig, had mentioned calling me the Heartbreak Kid on commentary. He told me about it. I was like, I kind of like the name. And then it just came out one time on a promo. And they were all things that just slowly kind of, went with this music and this movement and stuff like that. And I can't dance a lick. My wife and everybody will tell you that the moves that I do during that entrance are the only ones that I have. But yeah, then it just became kind of this, going down with the chaps and the zipper and stuff like that. And it just kind of became what it was, and it seemed to work. Yeah. And the more I did it, the more it seemed to work. And the more outlandish I got, the more it seemed to work. And it's one of those things that you begin chasing that dragon, to be perfectly honest, is what it becomes once you get that response and, and it's palpable. You just feel like, okay, the more I do this, the more I get into it, the more this is going to work. And I did recognize that clearly no one else was doing it, because almost every dude wants to be the coolest guy in the room. This was just, there was no way, given the way I looked and my size, that I was going to be the biggest badass out there. There was just no way, not, in this land full of giants and men. And I had a completely different look. So what was the best way that I could, use what I had? And so what we saw as the Heartbreak Kid was the best I could come up with.
Oh, you came up with something special.
I was about to say, because it's still, connects with kids today. Sexy Red.
Well, because nobody will act like that big of an idiot on live television except for a few of us. So, yeah.
I don't know how heavy you are on TikTok, but obviously you got to be tapped in, because these videos have been going crazy online.
Well, yeah, I'll say this. I appreciate Sexy Red from the standpoint. Yeah, she's kind of put HBK back on the map again with all of it. Yeah,
it's the aura.
Well, it's silliness is what it is. It's absolute silliness watching a 60-year-old man going out there and try to move like he was 25 or 35, which just not a chance. But it's been fun.
Yeah.
That's all the youth at the Performance Center in NXT, get a kick out of doing that stuff. And I'm a kid at heart. It keeps me from having to grow up. I've always told people that I've been so fortunate to not have to do that. I've got a family that understands that my children will have a father that continues to embarrass them for the rest of their lives. My wife puts up with me. And the idea that I get to go out there and have fun, and make, my living, is truly a blessing. And there are times like that when, I don't know, something like that just kind of happens and we roll with it. And those are the best things in my life have almost always come from that. Anything that I ever try to structurally do or plan or whatever doesn't work out that well. But the things that I stumble onto in my life have always been the things that have, reaped more rewards than when I'm actually, focused and goal oriented.
When did your shift? When did your focus shift from like being a great athlete to like a great entertainer now?
Well, I think in those early years, in the 90s, it was, I guess, just trying to make the most of what it was that I had in an era where I always kind of say I was never going to be the one they were going to pick. I was never going to be the guy that they say like, hey, that's the guy we want to build the company around. So what was the best way that I could be at least an extremely hot commodity that was something valuable to the company? I always felt from an in-ring standpoint, once I got into the ring, I always felt that I was very good at what I did, and I was comfortable with that aspect, but that's not always enough.
Yeah.
And so I will say I think for me, everything changed perspective wise again in my second run. And look, I try to not beat people over the head with it, but it was finding Jesus and honestly getting perspective on my life and understanding that this was now much bigger than me, a wife and children and a job and with a company that's been extremely patient with me, good to me over the years, and understanding this is a life now that can continue to give us a future unlike we'd ever, possibly dreamed of.
Yeah.
And beginning to understand that and start to do this, as a job, but also a job that you can thoroughly enjoy. And it is everything that I've ever wanted to do. It's the one thing in this world that I feel like I was good at, which is wrestling. And then on the other side, being able to give back, obviously has been, another blessing on top of that. Just now having the opportunity to give young men and women that come through the Performance Center at least the platform to be able to build a life and a future for themselves and their family going forward. Yeah. And that's an awesome responsibility to have. And so anyway, I don't know. I've been very fortunate for somebody that tried really hard to screw it up early. Mm-hmm. To be given that second chance was just something I didn't want to think that there was going to be a third or fourth. Right. I thought I would just be smart to take advantage of the second one, right, and try to make the most of it from that point on.
Love it.
But I think that's why you're probably the best sort of person to lead this new generation of talent in NXT, because we've all saw your ups and downs, and when you're talking to the youth, Melo, you can relate to that as well. Like it's probably a little bit harder to listen to a Perfect Patty, you know what I'm saying? But with people with a little bit of scars, the message is received a little bit. And obviously those NXT kids love you. Like, they keep you young. You're always doing the viral videos with them. And obviously you've helped create some of the, current crop of incredible stars that are just now starting to blow up. Your Obafemi's, Javon Evans's, Trick Williams, all those guys have become, obviously the women as well, just megastars. Talk to me a little bit about just, that experience of being around so much young talent from all different walks of life and different sports, and sort of like learning this way of professional wrestling.
Sure. Well, again, some of it is the experiences you have. I always try to tell them, you're not going to have a thought in your head that I haven't had at one time. So if you're comfortable with it, you can be honest with me, you can be open. One of the things our generation didn't have was the old timers saying that it's okay to be scared, it's okay to cry, it's okay to be emotional, it's okay to be intimidated, it's okay to say I don't know.
I can imagine it wasn't like that in the 80s. A lot different.
It was not. And I'm just using it as an example. I mean, they cannot have those feelings as well, but to know that everything is okay, you're not going to be judged, certainly by me, because I don't have that right, and I have made every mistake. So that's something that I do use as best I can to help them and guide them. I understand the people that are passionate, or when they get angry, or they've got a chip on their shoulder. They're all things that I can relate to, and I can at least validate the way they're feeling, and then do my best to try to help them best guide them, in the midst of those emotions, and trying to get them to, it's okay to say it to me right now. We're in a safe space, as they say. Go ahead and lay it out on me. But if you want to go to upper management, I would suggest maybe saying it this way.
Do you ever get those moments where they're like, how you gonna tell me to talk like this when you was telling people to suck, telling your boss off, like cursing people out?
They don't want you to grow up.
Right. Yeah. No, sir. But I also tell them that, make no mistake about it. You're if you want to call me a hypocrite, you have every right to do that as well. It's trying to explain to them but this is so much bigger now.
Yeah.
When we were doing it, it was privately owned. There was one person and one person only. Now it's much bigger than that. And to try to help them also understand that this is global and this is really a way, as you understand, we have the ability now in this line of work to set your families up generations. I mentioned it to somebody and they were like, oh my goodness, when you put it like that, generational wealth. You have the ability now to really have an opportunity to set you and your loved ones up for a wonderful life. If you'll just, again, if you have to play the game, play the game. If you have to, make some, compromises that don't feel like you're sacrificing a part of who you are, make them. And, and to let them know that, again, the people that know you, the people that love you, they know this, they know your heart, they know who you really are. So try to make the best decision you can going forward. Don't cut your nose off to spite your face. Yeah. Is it worth getting this off your chest and saying this to them? Is it worth possibly losing your job? When it's easier, to at least, I find that if they can at least get it out with me, it makes them feel better. Gotcha. And I want them to be able to have that because I do understand that. I mostly just had to get it out. And there are times, I'd have gotten in a ton more trouble had I not had somebody like Hunter to sit there and yell at in the car or something like that. So even all the trouble I did get in, there probably would have been more had I not, had a close knit of friends around me.
From your point of view, do you feel as though it's hard for you to be great, but also to make someone else great? Is that hard for you?
So,
like you the guy, but making someone else the guy.
Right. So what's been challenging for me is from a coaching and teaching standpoint. There were a lot of things that came very natural to me that I didn't have to think about. I will say I've always been comfortable saying that I was gifted to do the one thing that I do. I never questioned that. I felt like I was put on this earth, and I feel that way now, that I was put on this earth to wrestle and to do what I'm doing now. There are a lot of things, though, that when we're dealing with athletes, as you know, there's a lot of A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. If you do these things, this will happen. There's a part of that in our line of work where that's true, but then there's other aspects that that are just, it's either there or it isn't. That it factor that everybody talks about. And some things are very hard to teach. It's a feel, it's an emotion. It's I don't know, it's a feeling of depth within you that makes you the will to win.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the idea of wanting the ball at the end of the game. Everybody wants that moment.
Until that moment.
But it's a whole different ball of wax when you're holding that ball. And
in that moment.
Exactly. Absolutely. And hitting it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And not everybody can do that.
I always say not everybody can wear the white hat. I always say that.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. I almost compare it to like why guys like Michael Jordan or like Magic like struggled with like GMing or coaching and stuff like that. Stuff that just came naturally to him. You almost feel like you can see them wanting to put like their inner whatever into somebody else.
Right.
Like,
and that's the thing, wanting to do that for them. And that's been one of the hardest things. And we were doing it last night, and I was looking at somebody and like, you ready? And they're like, yeah. They're like, you ready? And I'm like, my part's done.
That's right.
My part's done. It's now up for you to go out there. I said, that's the hardest part for me is giving over that control of not being out there and doing it like this.
Yeah. There's one more wrestling related question I want to ask before we get. I know we were running short on time. Sweet Chin Music, one of the most iconic finishing moves in the world. When you're tuning up the band, you know what I'm saying? It is a finishing move that you made famous, but everybody does now.
Everybody does it. Yeah, it comes up all the time. Everybody does it now.
It's like, I compare it to like the Euro step or like the step back three. It's like, one person made it popular, not everybody does it. You know what I mean? What is, first off, how do wrestlers sort of decide what their finishing move is? And just tell me about your thoughts on everybody doing your super kick, your sweet chin music? Is it like, is it something that you like, you don't like? Some people do it better than others. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, on the first one, or on the how do people decide their finishing move? I think that's something, again, when you're getting into this, everybody kind of has this idea. We're all kids, right? And so everybody's got an idea. Like, if I were allowed to be this superhero, I do this, and this. And so I think everybody has an idea kind of coming in the door. Ideally, what they'd like to do is a finishing move. The $1 million question is, are you going to be doing something that somebody else isn't already doing, which is one of the challenging things now. And if you are going to do that, will you be hearing about it? And so I can remember with Sweet Chin Music, the super kick, it was a couple years after I retired and getting a phone call. And again, one guy wanted to use it and, is it okay? And I said, yeah, doesn't matter to me.
Who's the
guy? I'm trying to think. I want to say, I think it was Dolph Ziggler.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just thought, like, sure, I'm not there anymore. I've just never been, I didn't want to be an old timer that stopped the progression and the evolution of the business. I ran into that a lot. Kids are killing the business. You're going too fast. I didn't want to be one of those kind of guys. And so once I said yes to that one, it was like sort of opening a floodgate.
It happens.
I don't know. I guess I'll say this. I'm always happy because that question comes up in darn near every interview I do. I still feel like the move is always still going to be synonymous with me, which I'm appreciative of. And I don't know. I think to myself, if I'm laying there on my deathbed, and my biggest problem in my life is that too many people were using the damn sweet chin music.
You did good.
Man, yeah, right? I mean, come on now. There's hardly anything to,
That's a fact.
to complain about.
That's a fact. And, exactly. and it's a difference between the super kick and the sweet. They don't tune up the bass.
They don't tune up the bass.
Yeah.
Like, mine works.
Yeah.
Right.
The tune up is not the same.
Yours
right?
wins matches.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, Shawn, you know what time it is? It's time for America's #1 segment, and I can't wait for you to check this one out. It's called Fuck With It or Fuck Out of Here, presented by FanDuel. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to show you some viral videos.
All right.
You're going to let us know if you're fucking with it, it's cool, or we're getting it the fuck out of here. Let's go. All right. So we've seen a lot of celebrity crossovers in wrestling. All right. And some that come to mind is obviously Mike Tyson, who's in their match with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bad Bunny, who's killing it. And I think you helped train for a couple of his matches. Travis Scott, we got I Show Speed, who was on Raw a couple of weeks ago. But we got some footage that we want to check out real quick. Who is it? Oh, yeah, this is Travis. All right. Oh, yeah. Bam! Oh, my God. I remember watching that live. I'm like, yo.
Yeah.
Does he know? Like, it's supposed to. We brought that club back.
Apparently not.
Travis, man, leaned him out.
He's sorry. Travis is sorry.
All right, we got do we got any more footage? I know you trained Bad Bunny, right? Like, was there?
More of Logan Paul.
Oh, Logan Paul. That's what it was. Sorry about that. Yeah, Logan Paul is who you helped train. So, fuck with it or fuck out of here. Celebrities that get inside the ring. Your thoughts? Are you fucking with it?
Yeah, we have to because I think it's fun. And some of them, again, like Logan Paul, some have done just a fantastic job. Mm-hmm. What would WrestleMania 14 have been without Mike?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Legendary.
So, I mean, I think we got to keep it.
Got you. I'll say it for you so you don't got to say it.
Bad Bunny really wanted to do it, though. He's like a real character.
He did a good job.
He did a hell of a job.
Yeah, just won the tag team titles this week.
He did a hell of a job.
Yeah. I mean, Logan Paul's
He's a character. He's entertaining. He's a character.
The first time I saw Logan Paul step into the ring, I was like, this is what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah. That's that, they entertainers anyway. Yes. This is what they do.
I think that even that level has gone up.
Yep.
That now people are understanding that if they're going to come from the outside, they got to do it well. Because Bad Bunny and Logan Paul and those guys have set a precedent now that you can't just come in and
just wave to the people they want to see get active.
Yeah.
Even Speed took a spear from Braun Breaker, which was
he did
insane.
Bless his heart. It was a repeat. It was a payback for punch, probably.
Yeah, I think it's going. All right, apparently, again, we spoke about the Iceman earlier today. Caleb Williams of the Chicago Bears is looking to trademark the moniker Iceman.
Oh.
And George Gervin is not happy about it. Quote, I've got nothing but respect for Williams. He's already proved greatness and his potential upside is great, like an Iceman, but that name is taken. All I'm saying is, young fella, we already got one Iceman. HBK.
All I'm saying, young fella, we already got one Iceman, young fella.
If there's another Iceman, it's Val Kilmer and Top Gun.
So I got to ask you to give us just, I know you're a man of God. If you can give us one fuck out of here, it would make my entire podcast.
I get in trouble from the church again. Get the fuck out.
All right. Understood. Sorry.
They're already always mad at me.
Sorry, Caleb. Yeah, there's only one Iceman. So
show that respect, man. You should at least reached out to Iceman and handle that.
Yeah, they gotta handle that. Yeah, man. That's like, come on, son.
Iceman. If Iceman would have blessed him with the nickname Iceman, that'd have been a dope.
But they both Nike guys. They can
viral moment. Right?
Yeah. Nike got to get on the line. Work that out between us two.
Chicago was cold. It's ice.
That's the thing. You make the call.
Make the call.
Yeah.
Make the call.
Now, Shawn, you know they hit a dance move or two, but there was a Miss Grand Thailand beauty pageant that took place earlier this week, and this lady was going crazy. Okay, lots of elegance. Bam! Look at that. Listen, first of all, I don't know who won this pageant, but she better have won for doing it. Absolutely.
For cultural relevance, man, she won. She won.
I was gonna say, I don't know. I'm gonna, because she got noticed, right?
Yes.
I'm sure everybody paid attention. So I wouldn't do it. But if it's worked for her, if that's what she was looking for, she accomplished it.
Absolutely.
She already won by being herself.
Yeah.
To me.
So I rock with
it. Speaking of beauty, HBK, you've always had a, I'll just say, eye for talent. You know what I'm saying? My timeline will say it. Anytime I'm on my timeline and they're like, that's a wrestler? She's a wrestler? This is just no disrespect. No disrespect. I know the wife is here. No disrespect. Beautiful woman in NXT. You know what I mean?
You have to give I appreciate everybody feels like I get all the credit for that, but our talent development recruitment team are the ones that do all the work on that.
I think it's a combination of like the Heartbreak Kid.
You signed off. Yeah. The Heartbreak Kid signed off.
Yeah. It's like you got to give it that little go-to. But before you get out of here, HBK, your documentary, The Heartbreak Kid, Becoming Shawn Michaels on Peacock, was just announced. It's dropping very, very soon. I want to say, was it April 13th, Nick? April 13th? April 13th is dropping on Peacock. Talk to us a little bit about it, man. What can we expect?
Well, I'll say this, the thing that I guess when I saw the pieces of it that I saw, there was actually footage in it that I've never seen before. So I guess that was the part that I was most impressed by, because 40 years, I thought I'd seen everything. And to be honest, when they first said it, I was like, oh, boy. Another documentary. How many have we done on me?
Right.
But this one was more, I think, focused on the work that I do in NXT, which I think is, positive. And I think if it's something that you want to see stuff that you haven't seen before, this is something that does have that.
Yeah.
And obviously, a lot, more of it is focused on NXT, which again, I'm obviously happy that they did that, because that's where we want the focus to go, is on the talent from NXT.
Yeah, man. Gotta say, doing a hell of a job, crafting the new generation of talent in WWE. And I can't say there's anybody out there more better equipped to lead that new generation of talent. So just please continue to do what you're doing with NXT, and you're killing it, man.
Well, thank you very much. Absolutely. I appreciate it. And obviously, as long as they keep me around, I'm going to keep going.
I think they will. I think
you ain't going nowhere.
I think you know a guy who knows a guy. I don't think you're going anywhere anytime soon.
You're not going nowhere, man. Cass, listen, this was yours, man. You take us home.
I appreciate that, man. So usually Melo gives the flowers at the end of the show, you know what I'm saying? So I just want to say, Shawn, you're a guy that a lot of us has watched our entire life, you know what I mean? From, the Rockers, HBK, DX, Finding God, and now you're like the leader of this new generation of talent. And man, and I love the fact that you don't hide your warts, you don't hide your flaws. It's there for everybody to see. And I think that's the real mark of a man, somebody who could take accountability, own it, and definitely take yourself and use it for the greater good. And at the end of the day, as long as you're putting good out there, the entertainment is great, Love the entertainment, love the matches, classics, one of the greatest of all time. But what you're doing now is probably more important than anything. So just flowers to you, legend. Thank you for coming to the couch. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you very
This
much.
is what we wanted to do for a long time. So I really, really do appreciate you coming out here to Brooklyn and kicking it with us, man.
My pleasure. It was a joy being here. Thank you.
Absolutely, guys. Guys, you know what this is. This is 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, a Wave original presented by Intuit TurboTax. You know what to do. Subscribe to our YouTube and podcast channels. Hey, we nominated for a Webby too, man. Best Sports Show.
Yes, we are.
Right?
Yes,
and
we are.
Coming for that gold. So make sure it's the People's Choice Award. Make sure you vote for us, and we take that home. But in between that, subscribe to our YouTube page. Leave a like, leave a rate, leave a review, all the comments. We love them all. Between two Hall of Famers, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, the legendary Carmelo Anthony, I'm Kaz, and we catch y'all next time in the hook, people. Peace.
Peace.